Hey, this is Charles, your host of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, where connections matter. I bring you interviews of Detroit difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship and community involvement. On today's episode, we interview T.ROSE, who is founder of WriteYourPlan.com.
Can get to. So the number one reason, and the reason that we started Write Your Plan, is about attracting investors and lenders. So yes, there's that internal, but a lot of times existing entrepreneurs, people that are already serving clients, already have a product or a service that they're providing, get to a point where they say, we are putting our own money into this and it's coming to a place where we're ready to expand. We need to hire more people to help us. We need more inventory. We need, more infrastructure. And that's going to take funding beyond what we really have or what we are willing to continue to pour in here. We need someone else to invest in us. So attracting investors and lenders is paramount. It is the way to attract them is with a comprehensive business plan. It's what they're looking for. So attracting the investors and lenders becomes really, really important when people are ready to scale their business up to that next level.
Okay.
Yep.
So attracting investors and lenders. Okay.
Yeah, that is absolutely number one reason that people write business plans. And then number two, it's really to assess your business's potential. So as I was describing earlier, that was one of the things that we did early on, many years ago, just to find out if this business idea is really what we think it's going to be. And when I was a college professor, I used to commend the students that were taking the time to learn before they jumped out there, because a lot of times people just get an idea for a business and they just jump, right? Like, oh, we can do this. And then they get out there and realize that it's tough. I wouldn't trade entrepreneurship for the world, but it's tough, right? It's no joke. You're going to work harder for yourself than you would ever work for anybody else. You're going to work longer hours, and I wouldn't trade it. um, but it's really about assessing that potential. So I used to tell them that there's one of three outcomes that you're going to have as a result of writing your business plan and really seeing every aspect of your business on paper and doing that research and doing that work. So number one result could be that you find out that the idea that you came up with originally is absolutely as pristine and perfect as you thought it was, and you should run with it. Absolutely, you're on it. Do it. The second result could be that you have a great idea, you're off to a good start, but maybe you need to tweak a few things. Maybe, there's not exactly what you thought. Perhaps now that you've done this research, you've figured out there's a little shift that you need to make in order for it to really get you where you want to be. And that's actually what happened with me, even with this business, even with Write Your Plan. My original idea is not what it is today.
Okay.
It's evolved. And the third result that could come from writing a business plan is to say, you know what, that was a great idea, but I don't think either I'm not right for it, or it's not going to work, or it's not going to work the way I thought. And so now you have the skill. You can use that to apply it to something else and say, well, let's try another idea. And that happened a lot.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So the second step is to assess your potential.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
okay.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So then the third reason to write a business plan is to double your odds of success. Now there's a ton of research out there about why businesses fail, who fails, who succeeds, and why. And that's what I'd like to sort of dig into is why. Why is it if we know that 90% of all businesses that start are going to fail in the first year, 90, there were over 4 million businesses started in 2020. So,
Wow.
yeah. So to imagine, that there's going to be so many of them that are no longer around a year later. That's really it's kind of scary in a way. But
Yeah.
then when you take the 10% that did make it beyond the first year, 70% of them are going to fail within 5 years. So they might hang on for a little
Okay.
while longer, but there's going to be another 70% that fail within 5 years. So if you make it beyond the 5 year mark, wow, you've really done something phenomenal. And that doesn't failure, just before I even go any further with that, let me just back up and just talk about failure, because there's nothing wrong with failure either. I mean, like I said, I've had several businesses over the past 20 years, and some of them failed. I've
Right.
had
Right.
successful businesses, I sold a business, and I've had businesses that just didn't work. It just
Okay.
were wrong. So it's
Okay.
okay, because you learn from that and it all, becomes part of your story. All right. So that is part of it too, is, just being able to double your odds of success. Because when you have a comprehensive business plan, the statistic that is telling me that 70% of businesses are going to fail within 5 years, the flip side of that is that 30% of them succeed. So I want to know, what did that 30% do that
Okay.
succeeded? And the number three reason that they succeeded was because they had a plan.
Okay. Okay.
Proper planning, and just, Benjamin Franklin said that failing to plan is planning to fail. And
Okay.
so there's lots of evidence that demonstrates that if you just kind of flying by the seat of your pants with no plan, no roadmap, no framework, and no idea of where you're going to be in the next 30 days, where you're going to be in 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years, no projection whatsoever. You're just kind of running. Those businesses tend to fail. And a lot of times it's because they're making financial mistakes. So if the third reason is because they don't have a plan, the first two have to do with money.
Okay.
So what I said is, well, if we can fix the number three, helping people with a plan, and then help them to get to investors and lenders, that solves issues number one and two. So now we have a framework to help people to be in that 30% that succeed.
Wow, wow, that's awesome. So the third reason to have a business plan is to double your odds of success.
That's
Now,
right.
I'm curious, you stated um, that in the first year, 90% of business fail. Would you argue that most of those businesses failed did not have a written business plan or didn't have an idea of their concept? What would you say about that, those 90%?
Statistically, yep. Statistically speaking, that is what the data
Okay.
shows, is
Hmm.
that people just kind of just started because of whatever reason, because they had an idea. Maybe somebody told them that they're really good at baking cakes, and they used to
Hmm.
make cakes for people for the holidays, and they thought, well, maybe I can turn this into a business, and just kind of start it, without a plan, without knowing exactly what is it going to take to be profitable,
Okay.
and having all those pieces.
So just by sitting down, doing some market research, coming up with a plan increases their odds of success.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's really taking the time to understand how the business works from every angle and every aspect, and taking the
Okay.
time to really understand that. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yes, indeed. So, number four, the fourth
Yes.
reason to write a business plan is to examine your entire business concept from top to bottom. So this is kind of what I've been saying all along here, is that what a business plan is going to do for you is to help you to understand the operations, the company, the marketing, the finances, the exit strategy, key partnerships, and how does money flow in, how does money flow out, every aspect of it. I mean, I've seen people discount or not include the cost of goods in their marketing, in their financial planning, which is a huge mistake. People that are, for example, maybe making a hair care product, I'll just use that as an example, in their kitchen, and not counting how much it costs for the little tubes that they're putting the product in, and the labels and the ink. And just, I mean, you'd be surprised. It's the smallest things that people are not counting that is impacting their bottom line. So this concept, or this idea of understanding how every layer of your business impacts the other, because the other piece that happens is, what if, as you're going along, and let's say you fall into that category of people that say, I've done this great planning, and we understand what we're doing, and we're running, and everything's looking great. A year later, you say, we need to make a shift. Something has happened either within our company or within the economy, and we need to make a shift. Well, when you make that shift, what is the ripple effect? How do you really understand what the impact is going to be on every other aspect of your business if you make that one shift? So when you become proficient at planning and business planning and having that in your wheelhouse now as an entrepreneur, you will understand that ripple effect and being able to be nimble.
Okay. Okay. So the step four or step the reason four is to examine the business concept from top to bottom.
You got
Okay.
it. You got it.
That's great. That's great.
Okay. So then reason number 5 is about accountability. We all need to be accountable to ourselves, to someone else. And being accountable to someone outside of ourselves is just like anything else, I think, in life. I have coaches, and many of us do, right? So you have business coaches, you have life coaches, you can have a relationship coach or a fitness coach. So for many people, some people are able to just get up, go for a run, come back, eat, all the vegetables and fruits and all of the lean foods that they're supposed to eat, drink all the water, get enough sleep, do all of the right things every single day. There's a very small minority of people that can do that without anyone else being involved in the process. Most people need accountability. They need someone else to be there to say, first you're going to do this, then you're going to do that, and you're going to get it done within this time frame. So having some accountability within your business, it could be the partners within the business, that each person has a role, right? So if it's a lot, some people are solopreneurs, and so you have to be accountable to yourself for everything. It really helps to have somebody else to bounce your ideas off of, and when you're struggling or when you're feeling like things are just getting overwhelming. So having an accountability partner is really, really helpful. But when there are multiple people that are running a business, many times each person has a different role. And so, one partner is expecting the other partner to pull their weight. And if you're not, then it kind of throws off the entire enterprise. And so that accountability really comes into play, because how are you going to reach those milestones that you've set for yourself? How are you going to stay on that metric tracker if you're just kind of, letting yourself off the hook and not being accountable to anyone else? So accountability just really helps you to stay on track.